Now, Iranian officials are hopeful for progress towards a deal to forestall the fresh conflict when talks with U.S. negotiators resume on Thursday. In fact, this comes despite a huge buildup of American military might in West Asia. It was while speaking with CBS News that Iran Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi said details of a possible deal were still being drawn up ahead of renewed talks on Tehran's nuclear program, after U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff said that Trump was even questioning why Tehran had not capitulated yet.
I don't want to use the word frustrated. It's almost because he understands he's got plenty of alternatives. But it's curious. He's curious as to why they haven't, I don't want to use the word capitulated, but why they haven't capitulated. Why under this sort of pressure with the amount of sea power, naval power that we have over there, why they haven't come to us and said, we profess that we don't want a weapon, so here's what we're prepared to do. And yet it's hard to sort of get them to that place.
Badr al-Busaidi, who is the foreign minister of regional mediator Oman, said that talks would resume on Thursday with a positive push to go the extra mile towards finalizing the deal. Well, Axios had earlier reported and cited an unnamed senior U.S. official that if Iran submitted its proposal in the next 48 hours, Washington was very much ready to meet again later in the week to start detailed negotiations. Iran has indicated it is prepared to make concessions on its nuclear program in talks with the U.S. in return for the lifting of sanctions and recognition of its right to enrich uranium. It is said to be considering a combination of sending half of its most highly enriched uranium abroad, diluting the rest, and even taking part in creating a regional enrichment consortium. In addition, Iran has even offered openings for U.S. companies to participate as contractors in Iran's large oil and gas industries, and this as it seeks to avert a U.S. attack. The U.S. has sent 2 aircraft carriers to West Asia in recent weeks, along with other ships and jets, and also shored up its air defenses in the region to back up its threats of military interventions. The USS Gerald R. Ford aircraft was seen transiting the Strait of Gibraltar, which links the Atlantic Ocean to the Mediterranean. In a photo taken from the Gibraltar side of the strait, Trump, who had previously sent his USS Abraham Lincoln to West Asia, had said on Friday that he's even considering limited strike on Iran if negotiations fail to yield a replacement for the nuclear deal. However, a New York Times post, the report suggests that Trump has told his advisors that he shall consider a much bigger attack in the coming months if diplomacy or any initial targeted U.S. attack does not lead to Iran to give in to his demands. In fact, another report suggests that U.S. and Western security officials are very much monitoring what they call increasingly worrisome signs that Iran could direct its proxies to conduct retaliatory strikes against American targets in Europe and West Asia. This in case Trump orders large-scale strikes against Tehran. The country is facing tensions on 2 fronts. Besides external military pressure, the country has been facing intensified internal unrest as well, with Iranian students chanting anti-government slogans who even scuffle with counter-protesters in the weekend. In fact, in the latest display of anger at the country's leadership, the gathering at universities followed a mass protest movement that was met with a government crackdown last month that left thousands of civilians dead.